same things that we ask of our students. We're continual learners. We're always growing. We don't have all the answers, but we're getting better and we're learning all the time. And that's what a day like today is about. I looked over the agenda and I'm super excited for what's in store for us today. We're going to have a special presentation from our colleagues, our neighbors at the Intiman Theater. We have a really unique partnership with them. And I think that's what you're going to learn about this morning. I know there's time for department and division meetings. And then there's a really nice set of workshops this afternoon. And I was excited to see that there are both online and hybrid options for our meetings all day today. One of the things I was chatting with the Professional Development Committee about was the need to, as we transition back to campus, have that mix. I expect us to have more and more in-person events over the course of the academic year, and we will complement that by giving people abilities to, be flexible and to zoom in when it's possible, like today. So I think this is a format, as you can tell, that we're getting a little used to. But we're learning with that as well. We're learning with the technology, and we will get better with it too. Of course, I think that employee development is so valuable. I'm glad that we can take time to stop our ordinary daily work and commit to improving our practice and deepening our own practice as educators. I also want to put a little plug in. You got a note, I think, from our employee development colleagues last week about some innovation awards. As part of the work of honoring, that is the theme, I really want us to take every opportunity that we can to highlight the awesome work of Seattle Central, in this instance for a national audience. Seattle Central, like the other Seattle colleges, is a member of the League for Innovation in the community college. It's actually a pretty select group of colleges all around the nation. Not every community college is even invited to be a part, but we have been members of the League for some time now, and they allow us to nominate individuals every year for innovation awards. You've gotten an email that encourages you to recognize staff or faculty through the Innovation Excellence Awards. And I think that those nominations will be due in just a couple weeks. I encourage you, if you have someone in mind, nominate them. I do want to honor and recognize the work we're doing. One of the things that we learned when our accreditation team was here just a couple of weeks ago is that the work that we're doing is inspiring people on a national level. And I want us to keep spreading the really good work that we're doing to a national audience. So do think about who you could nominate and put together a brief statement just describing the innovative teaching, learning, or leadership that they do. I think those were due November the 18th. The final things I just wanted to say, I really want to thank the hard work of the Development Day Committee for putting something like this together, now especially in multiple formats, live and in person and over Zoom. And I don't think I'm going to miss anyone, but in case I do, please forgive me. I want to recognize Carolina Ferrero, who's our faculty development coordinator this year, Lynn Caney, Emily Thurston from the Foundation, Donnell Wilkie, Talia Greenberg, Judy Blair, and special thanks to Jesse Hernandez for helping live stream the whole day. So thanks to our Development Day Committee. Yeah. The only other thing that I have to say is really just to set the stage for the two great MCs that we're going to have. I was learning a little more about what they're studying here at the college and the experiences that they've had. I know they're going to do a great job, and you're going to give them a warm welcome. So I'm going to turn it over to the MCs for today, Fatima and Telvin.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Lane. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. Hello, everyone. My name is Fatima. I am a second-year Promise student studying business administration. I use she, her pronouns. I'm also a student Promise peer mentor and an ambassador, and here is Telvin.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Telvin Kameta, and I am an international student from Kenya. And I am studying computer and information science currently, and I am looking forward to pursuing that in future. And I am the student ambassador at the Information Center. So there is a overview of a couple of things that we would like to go over, and but I would like to also just take this chance to appreciate the moment and time to receive this invitation to be here. And I've always wondered what Student Development Day is and what you'll do over here, because I have missed a couple of drama classes because of this. So yeah, we will be together from 10. We will be together from now till 10 a.m. And you shall be breaking into your division meetings at 10:15. Please kindly be punctual. Lunch shall be at your own time at 12, and you shall resume your second meeting from 2:30 p.m. So kindly be punctual of the two scheduled meetings at 10:15 and 2:30. And there will be two sets of workshop, one at 1 p.m. and one at 2:30. Yes. And just a quick reminder, please kindly sign in. It's something that we have been advised to sign in. Yes. Now I shall pass it over to Fatima for the land and labor acknowledgement.
Yes. So this is the labor acknowledgement. We pause to remember that our country is built on the labor of enslaved people who were kidnapped and brought to the U.S. from the African continent. And we recognize that continuing contributions of their survivors. We acknowledge all immigrant labor, including voluntary, trafficked, coerced, and undocumented, the people who contributed to the building of this country and who continue to serve in our formal and informal labor force today. We honor all underpaid workers and unpaid caregivers, students, and staff, and the invisible labor of women and faculty of color in our educational systems. It is our collective responsibility to critically interrogate our histories, to repair harm, and to honor, protect, and sustain our workers. This is the land acknowledgement. On behalf of Seattle Central College, I acknowledge the land on which we stand today as the traditional home of all the Coast Salish people, the traditional home of the tribes and bands within the Duwamish, Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. Without them, we would not have access to this gathering and to this dialogue. I ask that we take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of the land who are still here. Thank you, everyone. Now I will hope you will join me in welcoming folks from our partnership with Entomon Theater, who are here today to give us an overview of their work with our campus and students.
Should we test it out? Okay. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, the TV was like, I'm tired.
I know the TV was about to turn off, so let's see if anything's happening. All right, is anything happening?
I think she powered down.
Let's power her back up.
Ah,
One step.
So I'm afraid folks on Zoom won't be able to see this, correct? Because we can't share.
So actually, they are seeing it.
They are seeing it. Okay.
If you, or no, they're not.
No, they're not seeing
They're
it.
not seeing it.
Okay.
Seeing the video, they're not seeing whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're still on. This is what they're seeing.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So with your laptop, that's trying to do with the screen.
Okay. So should I do something? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Being settings. Let me turn that a little bit so I can see how we're doing.
Let me go to
Right.
settings for my computer.
Uh-huh,
System preferences.
sure. And just, sorry, displays.
Display. Nice in the second monitor.
Interesting. Good.
Okay.
I think maybe no.
Did it find it?
Thinking about it. It does look
Two
or
Can
drag one?
It's more that that isn't.
Right, it's because this is not sending us anything, so what happens? We click on that. Display settings. What does that mean? Okay, so I'm not a Mac expert, so maybe don't choose.
I mean, it should just.
No, it says it's mirroring. So it's-
Yeah, it's
so-
more that that with no signal on the last presentation,
I'm sorry, let me take a look real quick.
as in like the cord isn't working, is my fear. Oh, there it goes, there it goes.
Okay, something's happening.
Something's happening.
Here now people get to see my messy, there we go. Okay. Slideshow, we're gonna start from the top. I think so. Okay, so we think people on Zoom can see our slideshow. Give me a thumbs up if anyone can see. So we think they can.
You can use like email the
Okay.
PDFs.
So folks here in the room can see the slideshow. Unfortunately, maybe stop share. Okay, let's see what that happens. That doesn't thing. Stop share. So now you just see me.
Lucky.
Yeah, now you just see me. I apologize for those on Zoom. I think you're not able to see our slideshow. Those of you here in person are able to see the slideshow. So I'm glad that at least somebody gets to see the slideshow. So thank you so much. I really, well, being behind a podium is not my favorite thing. Let me introduce myself. My name is Monica Cortez Valhalla. I am the interim associate dean for arts, humanities, and social sciences. And I am joined by my lovely colleagues from the Intiman Theater, artistic director Jen Zara, managing director Wesley Fruget, and our other partner in crime, Dante Felder, is the education director. And so together we've been working on this program that we're going to tell you about, but I actually think students can tell you about it better than I can. So let's hear from a student.
I'm Luna. I'm with the Technical Theater for Social Justice emphasis at Seattle Central College. The way that I came to Seattle Central was by my aerial arts and my circus arts recreational practice. So I was just really fascinated by the physics that keep you safe. From there, I decided to come back to school to begin getting a structural engineering degree and working towards that, and found the Technical Theater for Social Justice program along the way. When I first came to Seattle Central, my goal was to get my prereqs done so I can transfer and get an engineering degree. But knowing that I'm eventually going to want to work with entertainment, there's so much culture and arts and, you know, humanities that go into that. You can't understand the art if you're only focusing on like the numbers. I think the thing that surprised me coming back to school in Seattle Central specifically is just how open the teachers are to learn from the students. I'm able to speak my perspective and have that be valued. The unique thing about the Technical Theater for Social Justice emphasis is that it equips you with the tools to excel in being able to create sets and costume design, all the things that you think of with technical theater. But then the social justice aspect of it is to encourage more people of color, more women, more queer people into the field of technical theater. What I would want to encourage the most is to just follow whatever it is that makes you giggle the most. Just follow that, and if you're having fun and you're engaged, you're learning.
All righty. Well, thank you so much to Intiman for putting that together. Can we give them a round of applause? That was really lovely. So let me go ahead and hand things over to Jen to tell you a little bit more about, oops, sorry.
I'm Luna.
Yeah, it was so good. Let's do it twice. There it goes. Okay. Yes, there we go. I'm going to turn it over to Jen, who's going to tell you a little bit more about Intiman. Oh, and is this not full screen? This isn't full screen. Why is it not full screen? Okay, I'm just gonna do that.
Okay. Okay, well, hi everyone. Like Monica said, thank you. My name is Wesley Fruget. I'm the managing director at Intimon Theater, and this is really an incredible partnership. We did do a lot of looking around the country, and we believe we're one of the few, if not the only, professional theaters in residence at a college like this. So this is really incredible. Who is Intimon? What is this theater? This is has anyone ever seen a show at Intimon Theater before? Okay, wow. So we have a lot of Into fans, Into family out in the audience. It's incredible. The theater has been around for 50 years right here in Seattle. It's a Tony Award winning theater. And previously we were on location in Seattle Center, right next door to Seattle Rep. And it was really incredible to move to Capitol Hill and to be, to form this partnership. So that happened, I guess, in the summer of 2020 during the pandemic. So here we are in our new home, launching this new program with you all. What does it mean to be a professional theater? Really, that just means that we are working with all of the professional unions that represent the actors, the stagehands, designers, all sorts of union folks. So that's basically what that means. Our mission is up on the screen. It's to use the power of story and education to activate dialogue, confront inequity, and build collective joy. I think we could all use a little bit of joy, right? Our values are up there as well. And coming up at the theater, we do have 2 incredible shows that you can check out. There's a postcard in the lobby. And I did just want to share with you all that as staff and faculty at Seattle Central College, you have access to $5 tickets. So that's every single show that we have. Yeah, you can go online and buy a $5 ticket. Those will be available starting in January. That deal also works for all of the SCC students as well. So the 2 shows that we have, The Sign and Sydney Brustein's Window, which is the second play by Lorraine Hansberry, who wrote A Raisin in the Sun. This is an incredible story. It's set in the 60s, New York City, kind of the bohemian underground of the city, and really deals with what it means to stand up for what you believe. And then the second play is called The Niceties, and that is set on a college campus. So I think it might be close to all of your hearts. It pits sort of a white baby boomer against her black millennial student, and sparks fly. So you don't want to miss it. I hope you all come out, give us $5 tickets, and come see a show at Intimon. So I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer to talk a little bit more about what this AA degree is that's running in addition to all of our productions. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Great, awesome. So why this program? And want to move this part of do I advance it here? Yeah. Oh my goodness. There we go. There we go. I get asked many times why we left Seattle Center to come to Seattle Central. And it's more than just a 1-letter difference. Thank you. Intimon was shopping for a new neighborhood. We found our neighborhood in Lower Queen Anne to be really inaccessible through transit and through the price point of parking in the Mercer garage, anything you can have to eat. And we were looking to come actually bring the theater to the communities we're hoping to serve. And we were shopping around in neighborhoods. We were at Langston for a while. We've done 12th Avenue Arts, and we rented the Erickson in the summer of 2019. So those conversations started in 2018. And I realized that Central has these assets, right? Like these scene shop and costume shop and like fabrication areas and these 2 beautiful theaters, but they don't actually have a theater program. There was not a course of study that someone could get a 2 or 4 year degree studying theater. So most of the classes that are offered as electives. So in that conversation that I had with Daryl, who's up in the booth right now, and we'll do a tour with him of the spaces if you join us this afternoon. We started talking about what was missing, and also in our industry, the industry of stagecraft, because it's not acting space, where the kids wearing all black backstage, holding levers and stuff like that.
folks have not focused on diversity in that particular field. The other barrier that exists in studying stagecraft is most folks who are drawn to it, find out about it maybe in high school, will only have the option to pursue a 4-year degree. So that's going to be a BA or a BFA. In order to turn around and practice something that once you have 2 years, you have the fundamentals, you have your hands on some stuff, you can get to work. So we were looking to frankly cut the line. Many of the people I know that studied, and I'm gonna damn my alma mater as well, at UW or the University of Rhode Island or Cornish that have that 4-year degree, they sort of incur enough debt that the arts cannot help them earn their way out of that debt. And they ultimately end up having to study something else. Some of them end up back here at Central getting a more marketable degree in order to pay down the debt they incurred studying the arts. So we're looking to short circuit that, that algorithm. In terms of the employment possibilities at the end of this degree, the entertainment industry, for every one person you see on camera on stage, there are 3 or 4 or 5 that are off camera, off stage, doing wardrobe, electrics, sound, gaff and film. All of these are jobs, and largely these jobs are represented by collective bargaining agreements, by unions that are looking out for your health, your pension, all these sort of things. In 2 years, we don't attempt to get every scenario and every material in our students' hands or in front of them. What we want to really impart is a system of deductive reasoning and a toolkit where they can go in with confidence to a situation, because all technical theater is and offstage camera work is problem solving. There's a knowledge of the equipment, and your scenario is never going to be the same. That's kind of the exciting thing about working in this field. There's always a different story to tell. There's always a different set of circumstances when you're on site and you're filming and all of this, and really training folks to be curious and compassionate as they approach supporting the story that's being told. So these are some of the different areas that folks can work in: concerts, live theater, TV and film, as I've mentioned, event production, telenetworking. The convention center would love to hire everybody that's currently in the program immediately for these union jobs, because honestly, getting systems to talk to each other is part of what we do. And I wish I had one of my students here today. So that is, those are some of the outcomes of the program. And it is a DTO, so a direct transfer agreement. So you can get your AA, you can, there's a very clear pathway to employment and union membership that we've built. But if you wanted to transfer into a 4-year school and you do want that 4-year degree, maybe you want to teach, maybe you want something else, or you want to become more expert in a specific area, you would transfer in then as a junior. And there are about 15 colleges, 4-year colleges and universities that are really excited about our students transferring into their program. The thing that makes this program different is that these students are learning alongside a 50-year-old professional theater. They're going to have more opportunity to watch the way that we make things, inform the way that we make things, and learn alongside our union staff, shop managers, and stage crew. So, do I advance? Do you have the clicker? Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Yay! So it is a 2-year degree, and in our first year, they start off in an intro to technical theater, and then they have tech theater skills 1 and 2. Intro is taught by Daryl. And what we do in that first quarter, and that's what some of these photos are from, is tour the students to all the different performance venues in the city. So here they are on stage at the Bagley Wright Theater at Seattle Repertory. Let's see. Here we are in the scene shop right over at the Erickson. You'll see that on our tour later, where Daryl is lecturing about the elements of stage lighting. These are some of the instruments that are also used in film. This is our students from our first year cohort. And here we are on the boards. That's our contemporary performance venue in Lower Queen Anne. And we're getting a little lecture on the sound console, which sits in the back of the house. That's pretty typical. You don't necessarily want a glance between you and your performers that you're trying to balance sound with. Some of the jobs available in audio engineering are mixing concerts, recording studio work. That's stuff that it's also an outcome, and live mixing, and then also musical theater. There's an entire job called an A1, which is deaf audio for musical theater. They're mixing the body mics so that, and turning them off so you don't hear somebody go to the bathroom when they step off stage, which has unfortunately happened. Okay. This is the costume shop at the Erickson Theater. This is our one of our instructors, Katie Schell. And she is our wardrobe supervisor at Intiman. She works for for us, and she's a member of the local 887. Some of the careers in costuming include wardrobe, which is the maintenance of costumes when they come off stage, the laundry and the sort of like preservation of the original design, stitching, tailoring, cutter draper, and costume crafts, which is the most fun, I think, because I like to get messy. But also there are shop managers that after they study the sort of math class that we have, the project-based math class, they would be very qualified to set a budget and a calendar for a costume build. Let's see. This next one, well, there's Daryl. I think this is Mini Hall, and some of our first year students getting a crash course on rigging. So that's anything that's overhead. This is the highest paid category, obviously, of stagecraft, because you have the opportunity to cause the most harm. So the people that are overhead riggers get additional certifications, and their pay category is really up there. Students also study scenic painting, scenic carpentry in the shop, and you'll see that later if you join us for the tour. And oh my goodness, I ran out of slides. This is you, Dante. This is my colleague, Dante Felder, who's our education director at Intiman. He's going to talk to you about what theater has to do with social justice.
Hello all, how you all doing? I see you here shaking. Do me a favor, if you are inclined, just stand up for a second.
Yes.
And I would like for you to just face a neighbor or turn around. And what I would like for you to do, we'll start off with story. What is the purpose of story? And you'll have 20 seconds each to respond to that section. I know there might be 3, that's okay. So one could be the observer. So what is the purpose of story? Go. Those online, you can just write it down. Like, what's the purpose of story? And switch.
Well, we could do it. I'm so mad. I'm like doing my. Yeah.
And 5 seconds, 5 seconds. And time. Go ahead and take a seat. Just one volunteer. What did you discover when you were speaking out loud or listening around what is the purpose of story or storytelling? Yes.
Well, three things. One, imagination, two, creativity, and three, culture. And this one, that story about with all three of those concepts.
So I heard imagination, what was the second one?
Imagination, creativity, and culture.
Creativity and culture. I agree. Anything else before I do my spiel? What else? What's the purpose of the story?
We talked about sharing and exposing experience.
Sharing and exposing experiences. And so thinking about the like story and how often we see story. And I grew up in the 70s, and like most of the stories I looked at, they from Tom and Jerry, you saw the African-American stereotypes, the diminishing of character and self-identity. My favorite movie, a superhero movie of all time, is Superman, Richard Donner's version. There's one African-American in space, and he's a pimp. Star Wars, when I have my representing my Star Wars outfit right now, Lando Calrissian in London, never had a show. So just thinking about like how we are focused in showing character or caricatures of folks of color on screen. Let's move it to the stage. How many people attend theater? Or go to the theater or know about theater? So thinking about like the theater and the stage, what is the purpose and function of storytelling on stage? And then I have an opportunity to work with Gail Selhorst in the Seattle Public Schools with a number of artists. We have created an anti-racist culturally responsive pedagogy framework called The Roots. And we do analysis of that work just to make sure to hold theater companies, directors accountable. So thinking about what Intiman and what Intiman stands for and what they have provided over since I've been associated with them for the last half decade, it's around story and making sure that folks are represented in a culturally responsive pedagogy where it's amplifying complex characters. And so I think this is different from which some folks get in trouble with, and sometimes with teachers and educators as well. They want to deify the African-American experience instead of saying, no, we're complex and human. I don't need to be deified. I don't need to be like more than, I want to be humble. I want to be sorrow. I want to experience happiness and joy. I want to live that human experience. So thinking about like the stage and what's being on stage and doing that critical analysis and thinking about that social justice component to the work is that every story, doesn't matter if you're talking about in social studies or language arts, it all comes back to film, especially on stage, and it's in real time. It makes sense. So just, I would advise you for $5. If you can't find $5 in your pocket or in the couch, find me and I will pay for your ticket so you can get to and experience joy and also hopefully stories that reflect and mirror your experiences. So thank you very much. My name is Dante Felder and you can find me somewhere. I'm like, wow.
In the basement.
Yeah.
All right, so a little bit about me, because I'm kind of new. Many of you probably don't know my background. I have a PhD in drama. Prior to that, I was a working actor for a long time. I'm still an actor. Once an actor, always an actor. And one of the things that I love about stories, as Dante mentioned, is that it gives us a chance to experience other people's experience, to walk a mile in their shoes. And I will say that happens more in theater. Whenever I had auditions for film or television or commercials, there was a very narrow space that I could fill because of how I look or talk, etc. But on stage, I've played everything. An old lady, a young girl, the Wicked Witch of the West, Shakespeare. So that's the wonderful thing about theater, is that it creates this space where we can experience multiple worlds. And so I really want to encourage you to take advantage of where we are here in Seattle. We are in an artistic community, so go to see theater. Encourage your students to see theater. Think about what plays are happening at the Intiman that maybe you can bring into your curriculum. Lorraine Hansberry was the first African-American woman to have a show on Broadway. She's a queer woman. She died very young, she was encouraged by a lot of really important African-American thinkers and artists, like James Baldwin. So there's lots of ways into these artistic pieces that have academic and scholarly merit. So one thing we wanted to do is just do a little ad for our afternoon workshop. When we think of theater, we often don't think about technical theater, which we all should. We often think about the performance aspect. So we're marrying those two. And our workshop this afternoon is called Performance Skills for Mental Wellness in the Classroom. We are meeting at the corner of Pine and Harvard at 2:30 to do a backstage tour and see things like the scene shop and costume shop, and then get on the stage and actually do some exercises that hopefully not only help you take care of your mental wellness, because as educators, as people who give and serve, we need to take care of ourselves. You cannot pour from an empty cup. But also, how do we bring this into our classrooms? So quick snippet of that. Right now, who's sleepy? People on Zoom, anyone sleepy? I'm sleepy. Yeah, okay. Let's just sit up nice and tall. Sit up nice and tall. Roll your shoulders back, okay? Wiggle your fingers. Open your eyes really big, now scrunch them closed. Take a deep breath through your nose and blow out. Smile. All of these things are affects. They're the physical manifestations of what we call feelings. And a lot of times we think the feeling happens first and then we have the affective response. I'm sad, so I cry. Sometimes you can make it go the other way. So if I'm feeling gross and yucky and tired, I can breathe, I can move, I can smile. Do you know when you smile, you actually release dopamine into your brain? It's a happy chemical. So you are automatically doing something physical to change your mood. So we're going to work a little bit more on that and hopefully talk about ways in which that we can bring this in not only to our everyday lives, but into the classroom. Last but not least, I want to thank everyone for being here in person and on Zoom. And can we give another round of applause to Intiman? Really quick, we want you to know that if you or anyone you know donates to the college, to the Seattle College's Foundation Fund, we do have a way that people can put like on the memo line of their check to donate specifically to a scholarship for technical theater for social justice. I believe this was started by a donor. Do you want to mention that real quick?
Yeah, this year was a surprise to us, but our donor, the Wyman Youth Trust, started this fund to provide scholarships, even though the price point is as low as it can possibly be to study with us. It's still a barrier to some folks, and we want to make sure that everybody has a chance at this. Between the promise and the scholarship, we're going to get them through the program.
Any last?
Yeah, we hope to see you all in the audience, and out in the lobby on the bar is not alcohol, but Intiman t-shirts if you would like. Good morning.
And as we like to say, everything's a learning moment. So our technical difficulties today shows us why this program is necessary. I'm not even here with it. We're good. Where were y'all at? We were.
All right. Thank you to our wonderful Intiman for joining us. We're so thankful for your partnership and your time today. Your presentation was great. And thank you for everyone for joining in person and virtually. Here are some reminders for Development Day and tell them what.
Yes, there will be 2 sets of workshop today at 1 p.m. and the other at 2:30 p.m. And please kindly do not forget to sign in once more. And yes, now you're invited to head to your division department meeting at 10:15 p.m. After that, you shall be heading to lunch at your own at 12 and check Canvas for workshop in the afternoon. And thank you again and have a great development day, everyone.
Mhm.